That was tough to start that one. You guys got any reception here or what? Can you hear me? I got a mic in. All right, what's up? What's up? What's up? You know, the first time I think I tried to do Shabbat in September, and it's kind of hard. It's hard for me to do Shabbat. It's not a easy task, but my wife got very upset at me that day because she wanted out of nowhere, at the tail end of summer, on a night that wasn't cold, demanded that I make her a fire. So I didn't have a Shabbat that day. It wasn't even cold. Cheers, mate. Cheers. Cheers, mate. Boy. Because it's Jewish for Sabo. 50 BMG Sabo. Good day. Good day, feds. All right, so what's up? This is going to be the last stream. Somebody in the last video, they didn't like that I used the word faggot. Or I think he said fag. That's what he wrote. Yeah, I'll probably close down the channel. I'm not gonna say it's the last stream. However, it's the last stream of this series, of whatever this is. Well, I'm not gonna stop. I got other stuff. I gotta focus on some other work. Well, we're gonna put it on. It'll be a different channel or whatever. Yeah. So there's a podcast. There's a podcast that we're doing. We got that lined up. We should have one if everything goes fine and Cody Wilson doesn't get hit by a bus or something. We should have a podcast with Cody Wilson here soon. Probably right after Christmas or whatever. That'll be interesting. We have a couple other guys want to come on. Yeah, that would be the Ghost Gunner guy. Art is dead. What about the podcast? Yep, that's what I'm talking about. Dio says, penis! Hell yeah! Penis! Shoot laser beams out of your penis! Yeah! I'm not going to do a channel. I'm going to do a series of videos. Are you going to do a chemistry channel? I'm not going to do a chemistry channel because I'm not good at chemistry. But I'm going to do a series of videos that uses chemistry. Think Mr. Guns and Gear watches YouTube. Okay. Why do you think that, Rich? And why is that important? Yeah, chemistry and sick beats. It's not really gonna, it's gonna be a very narrow field of chemistry. It's gonna be physical sciences. Where are you putting the videos? I'm gonna disseminate them as widely as possible so they can't be taken away. Hang on. Hold on. Oh, Cantho says, hey brother, just wanted to let you know that UFOs and extraterrestrial presence on Earth is real 100%. The military-industrial complex is using that to secure funding for the next 100 years. Do you want to explain yourself, Cantho? Or what? Are you, who is getting funding from who? Who is funding and who is getting the funding? You guys are just supposed to ask questions. I don't have a format here. I left it up to you guys. You guys are not really talking about anything good or interesting. So Pop got to spend time with his out of town bros. How do I feel about the Masons? Well, I mean, I don't know. What do you mean? Can you say, be more specific? How soon is Pew Pew? What's the deal with the Zohar? What do you want to know about the Zohar? It's a labyrinth. Well, Jake Butler wants to know, do you think the Masons are a controlled op or just a fraternity? So the Masons, you know, what Masonry is a very old network that can, they're physical, right? So they don't use, they don't have to use like internet or anything like that. Their connection is fraternal, okay? And they're international, okay? And what goes on inside of Masonry is separate and compartmentalized from what goes on outside of Masonry, okay? And Masonry is international. And Masonry has a lot of different people in it. And Masonry is pretty old. It's older than the CIA. And that's all you need to know about Masonry. Tara's asking, when you're still gonna check? I'm checking my fucking email. What the fuck? I'm doing everything like normal. I'm just not gonna do these streams because they're not fucking getting through. It's not working. I gotta change it. I gotta do something else. If you what kind of Black Locust questions could you possibly have, Tara? Ask whatever Black Locust question. I don't know. It's kind of cold. It's a little bit cold. So Nick T says, how cold is it there, Doug? I don't know, it's pretty cold. What questions do you have, Tara? Why don't you just ask whatever Black Locust questions you have right now? I mean, it's literally like you fucking stab the motherfucker, you cut the motherfucking arms off of it, and you stick them on the ground, they're gonna grow. They're like the easiest plant to grow. Cliff asks, what do you think about, stars and Star of Bethlehem, 800 years? You think it has meaning? So everything has meaning. Everything has meaning. What's meaning is more deep and complex than we like to give it credit for. The creation, because creation spans, like we look at things linearly. Like, so we think that the past is the past and has no connection to the present or the future. It's not. It's, like you can find pieces of a story in the past. You can have something that you're waiting for, right? You can have something that you're waiting for, like an answer, and then you'll find out that it was left for you when you were 4 years old. And it's just sitting in your mind, waiting for you. It just doesn't look that way because we don't think about it that way. It's absolutely that way. Did you know that the words in the Torah are there are messages left in there? Do you guys know that? For people that are here now, that other people don't see because they don't know, because things happen in people's lives and then they're found in there, and then it tells them the answer to some question that they have, and they find it and nobody else knows it, and everybody else can read the Torah and they have no idea that there's a special note in there for them. Did you know that? It all has meaning. The past. I gotta start Shabbos. Right now I'm working so I can keep Shabbos. I gotta get all this shit in order so that I can I have to do it in secret, right? Because nobody knows that I want to do Shabbos, so I gotta do it in secret, so I just gotta get really busy, so that I'm alone. So I can keep Shabbos. It's very hard. There's a lot of things I have to put in order. Everything has to line up. There can't be any sewer breaks or anything like that. Because I can't tell them I'm keeping Shabbos. It's not gonna work. So I'm working on that. That's my goal right now. That's why I gotta stop the streams. I gotta focus on things that are more important. Shabbat. Government control weather weapons. Well, I mean, they can affect pressure. Like they're understanding how to affect pressure by blocking sun. So they can block solar radiation retard solar radiation from heating air in order to localize low pressure mixes, which is wind, right? It's wind and has all kinds of secondary side effects. It could be a hurricane, could be a tornado. They can do that. That's about it. Adam Ritchie says, Doug, are you pretending to be one of the tribe? Because I don't think they're gonna buy it. No. Yeah. So the Shabbos is something that's it's one of the only things that I like, and I only want to do it for the Lord. It won't even matter. It doesn't even matter. I don't even get anything out of it. I still get killed. I die. But that's what I want to do. So I do it. I'm trying to. It's complicated right now. I'm trying to set myself up. I'm trying to stack myself some Shabbos deep. You know what I'm saying? Get the shit all stacked up. Knock them out. Boom, 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 boom. Make up for what I can. While I can. Wait. Canto wants to prove about UFOs. Yeah, can you say something about it? Like real short so that we can just go straight to the point. It's not celebration. Terry says it's a Jewish holiday. I have a friend who celebrates that stuff as well. But number one, it's not Jewish. Shabbos isn't Jewish. I mean, Shabbos is the word. Shabbat is not Jewish. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is that it's not a celebration. Okay, it is life. Yeah, Cantor. Everybody's gonna listen to you. Just be real precise with what you want to say. Like cut through all the bullshit. Just write a sentence or whatever. What are you talking about? If it's like gonna help people, then we can put you on the podcast to talk about it if you want. But I kind of gotta, you're gonna have to teach me something here. Yeah, UFOs, 1 second or less. 1 second or less! Do it! What's up, Boiler? Hey, Dark. Hope you're doing well. A lot of people want to do Shabbos because they're gonna die. So they do Shabbos so they can live. I don't want to live. I don't want to die, but I want to do Shabbos. I want to be squashed like I want to be scraped across the ground like a bug and do Shabbos. Okay. Cantho says that UFOs are real. Anyone can contact them. They are multidimensional. Our military and corporations know this. They don't want people figuring it out on their own. They're hijacking an arrow. Okay. What can you give us here? Is there something? Let me examine this for a second. I'll ask you a question. Okay. Okay. Where this what you just wrote? Where did you learn about this? Where did you first find out about this? Are you do you talk to the UFOs, or did you see something that somebody else was talking to these UFOs or seeing them or whatever? How did you find out about this? How did you learn of this? Adam just says anal probe, bro. Nick T says, when things get bad, would it get to a point where it may be worth leaving the country for a little bit? You should, the correct way to look at it is that there are no borders, because the fact of the matter is there are no borders. Number one, physically, the borders are fake. Number two, the nation states use, like you had borders originally in order to create the algebraic separation in order to work against each other. And then, and now you'll notice that your borders mean nothing at all. So like right now, your border is just used, the only purpose of a border at this juncture in operations of nations. The purpose of it is to have a place that is secured in the mind only, where you say that is where the nation stops, and we have control of that. The fact is, you have no control. And so because it's a place that you're not looking, not thinking about, this is why it's identified as a border. It's identified as a border so that when it's crossed, it can be chosen. Because if you didn't have a border, and then an army moved, you would have no datum to decide like when they've crossed. That's why you have a border. Ultimately. $1911, bro. So, Matt, Nick, to answer your question, for your resistance of evil, you should operate as if there are no rules, with the simultaneously understanding that whoever you may come in contact with has a very thick rule book that is convoluted and is multifaceted and entirely unique. And you should keep both of those together in your mind. Use the strength of your understanding of that to navigate against the threats. You know, when I was a kid, I used to go between Canada and the United States in the boundary waters, with all those lakes where you carry your canoe on your back, go between, and the mosquitoes would be so thick you would just you would go to sleep in a tent. You'd set up a tent. When it would start to get dark, you'd be too tired, you'd set up a tent, and then all the mosquitoes would come into the tent, and you wouldn't even care. Like you would just be, you would turn on your flashlight in the tent, and you'd be like, there were 1,000 mosquitoes on the ceiling of this tent, but that's way less than what's outside, and I'm so happy. And then you just go to sleep, getting bit in the face by mosquitoes, and then the lakes are all full of leeches, and there's lots of really bad lightning too. But you can pretty much move seamlessly between Canada and the United States. Okay, I got into this because I had unbelievable contact experiences that are 100% real. They are extremely hyper advanced. Everyone has the ability to contact them. They extremely well documented and peaceful. Okay, where did you contact them? Is this like in the mind through multidimensional contact? No, I'm not moving. I have dollies all over the place. Charles Graham is like, if I smoke weed, bro, you don't need my permission to smoke weed. Go get baked, I guess. That's what you're gonna do. You don't need some kind of excuse if that's what you want to do. I've never read any Ragnar Benson. Their technology is so advanced it can interact with human thought. Their ships can manifest in real 3D space and vanish in the blind of an eye. Okay, but you didn't answer any questions. So if you're contacting aliens, and if it's in a non-physical dimension that you don't share with anyone else, then why is that all anyone's concern? Like if you're talking to aliens in your mind, but not in a physical way that you can transmit to us, to other people, like we can't see it, we can't, we couldn't, like if you contact them, like you may be able to contact them all day in your mind because they're interdimensional, right? If we want to contact them, we can't, right? Like I can't right now. I'm trying right now, hang on. I can't. All right, so if we can't do it, then what significance does it have to us? Fuck, I'm gonna have to get a charger, hang on. If you don't shoot Big Red, fuck you! Fuck you! Sorry, I'm putting some fuel in here. It's pretty cold. This is a really powerful heater, and it's still freezing here. Fucking rocket ship. Okay, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Okay. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna see if Canthod has some other stuff on here. Because I was gone for a minute. I'm trying to keep one foot in front of the other here. There's a very cold mouse running around on the ground here. I feel sorry for him. Alright, so Canthod didn't say anything until he said recently. He said it's very difficult to explain over text regardless our industrial complex has made a coordinated effort to sell the idea to the public that UFOs are a hostile invading force requiring action. Alright. So I don't know if you know who the military industrial complex is. I don't know how familiar you are with that. I'm a little bit familiar with that. So when you say that, doesn't really bring a lot of credit to you, generally. Also, you're not answering questions, so I've got no, if you have something else that you want to say about it, go ahead and say it. I got to move on. Okay? I gave you a chance. You didn't take it. I don't know what that means. I don't know who those names are. Steve Justice and Chris Mellon. Loki. Thanks. Okay, yes. Go ahead and send me an email. For one of this. The reason being that you should be shooting, you probably have to shoot through walls. You don't really want to be shooting through walls. I mean, if you're shooting supersonic 300 blackout, yeah. In this case, it's fine. Like if you're talking supersonic 300 blackout, that's a good round. sort of. I have a Christmas tree in the house. They are a platform. Yeah, so Christianity and I have a very strange relationship with, right? So Christianity, all right. So I'm going to say this up front: whatever is truth, and we're not, we are very held by deception, right? So the world right now is under the influence of deception, and deception uses the host of what is right. Okay, so what is not deception is the host at all times of deception. You can't have deception as like I'm getting into an abstraction, an analysis of taking something that's abstract, like the concept of deception, and I'm putting it into a map to try to to communicate. Not to explain. I'm not explaining or teaching anything. You already know all this. You're just forgetting about it. So deception, in order for it to exist, it must be intertwined and ride along the entire way at every moment the backbone of truth. Without it, it cannot exist. Because in its definition, it requires the belief of truth. And we are all under great deception. With Christianity, the reason I avoid it so much and like discussing it is, number one, most people that watch is a Christian. So what do I need to tell you? There's nothing I'm going to tell you, right? The other reason is because Christianity, as it is known today, is extremely diluted and very far away from where it started. Not only is it extremely far away from where it started, in many ways it is counter and antithetical to what is in the New Testament. Furthermore, I would also add, which is something that people don't like to accept, that everyone that is particularly all of your, if you're not in the Levant and you're a Christian, that's because you were converted to Christianity by force. So if you're like a European, you spent more time in your ancestry being not Christian than being Christian. Now that's not any kind of judgment or anything, right? Like don't hear me out wrong. What I'm saying is that the amount of time that you've been Christian has been very short. Okay, in the scheme of things, and your ancestors fought to the death to not be Christian, and the ones that didn't do it lost. Yeah, and Christmas, obviously people know about like the integration of pagan identity into Christmas and things like that versus Christianity and things like that, right? So these are all convoluted things. They're convoluted things. They're not as crisp. And people that are Christian take a massive, not all people, I'm not speaking for all people, but what I'm speaking for is people that proclaim to be Christian take a massive right to like, declare what it is to other people. And not only that, there have been a lot of changes in Christianity, Legend of Pogrom says Christmas isn't pagan. I'm not saying that Christmas is pagan. What about the tree? Is the tree from Jesus Christ? From Yeshua? Is that where the tree's from? Christianity, one of the probably the most painful things about Christianity is the cross, which is geometry, right? So the cross is like, there are a lot of people, I often see flags with crosses on them a lot, like especially in this area where I live. If I use the analogy, although it's not the same, okay, but a lot, just bear with me. So the analogy to explain is if I had faith in what JFK said as universal, like certain words that he said, because the words were true, and so I've held JFK. Now this is not I'm not trying to make some kind of equivalence here. There's no element of deception here. I'm trying to show you something that's true. If I hold things that JFK has said, certain things to be true, and so I hold them highly as a politician, as a human being, using the pulpit, the political pulpit, to express certain truths, and if I hold them there, and in the way that I hold the truths that he said, instead of saying the truths, instead of taking the time to take apart the words, to put back together the words, to look at the words, to stand them out in front of me and walk back and look at them, to walk behind them and look at them, to see what they are from all sides, to try to understand truth. If instead of doing that, I take a Carcano rifle and I hang up a brass mold of that in my house, and if I fashion a wooden Carcano rifle and I hang it on my wall, and if I fashion a necklace of a Carcano rifle and I wear it around my neck, and if I walk around all day and I hang the Carcano rifle out of my shirt, then that is the equivalent of the cross. I mean in terms of analogy. I don't mean in terms of do you understand what I'm saying? Now, what I'm talking about with image, right? So image, how we see image is very elusive and very deceptive. So one of the things that I've tried desperately to do but failed because I'm retarded is try to explain to people. I've tried to explain to people that everything that we sense is made, meaning that it is not reality, it is not actuality. It's real in terms of how it's applicable to our physicality and how we navigate, the only tool that we have to navigate in physicality. But that doesn't mean that it's real. That doesn't mean that it's real. The reason that it's not real is not because I just declare it and say so. The reason that your senses are not real is because your being is separate from physicality. What you are in creation is separate from physicality, and they never cross. They never cross at all. And if you could take the moment that a life comes to this place, if you could take a womb with a woman that was pregnant with a child, and if you could somehow have a some kind of electron microscope or something like that, or an equivalent of that for time, where you could zoom in to see the moment that life comes into being. No matter how great your resolution and how much power you have, no matter how many capacitors you have on this device, no matter how many P's you have in your resolution, you will find a moment where the life does not exist and a moment where it does exist. And there is no capture of what's really there, of the creation. It's not within our domain. And so, as you said, this is the moment that the baby is born. And you zoomed in. You would then, if you zoomed in enough, you would learn that the moment that you thought was the moment of creation was not. And then it was one moment before. And then you would zoom in again, and you find out it was one moment before. And it would go on infinitely, and you would always find a division between one hand, the life not being there, and on the other, the life being there. And the same thing exists for your death. One moment you're here, and one moment you're not. And you could listen to the breath, and you could feel the pulse, and you could measure the electrical activity of the brain. And regardless of what you measured, if you could zoom in time, closer and closer and closer, you would find at one moment there was life, and at one moment there was not. The reason why is because life, actual life, is something that is not in our domain. It's sent here. It is created, just like all of this is created. All that's in physicality. And you can certainly recognize when something loses life. Although there's not much of a difference between someone sleeping and someone that's dead. And in the physicality, and as far as the senses, all that we see to navigate every day, to try to do what we see is right. There are things that can present themselves of every sense that clearly demonstrate that what you sense is entirely non-concrete. It is entirely susceptible to change, to perceiving the exact same thing as something else, and to perceiving something else as the exact same thing when in fact it is something exactly not. For every sense, whether it be sight, olfactory, auditory stimulation, sensation, taste, all of these things have examples. You know, the pirates, you know how they call the pirates limeys? The reason they call them that is because they ate a lot of limes, right? And they were doing that to fight certain infections that can take place that are common in sailors. And people that spend a lot of time in the seas and have certain diets. Scurvy, right? And so they eat a lot of limes, right? You know, when they're eating that lime and lemon, the reason that they can eat so much and that they love it so much, besides the brute choice of it, is because they would eat fruit that would be so contrasted with lemon and lime that it would make the lemon and lime taste sweet. And there are several fruits that are like this. And that's just one example in taste. And there are many examples. Just like in electricity, when you have a ground, it doesn't mean that your ground is zero. Your ground is whatever the ground is. And your voltage is drawn thereof from anywhere. And voltage can go into negativity. It doesn't have to be positive, or what we call positive. It's a relationship. It's a contrast between the two. Just like when you see light or color or any other aspect of what you know as photons in your visual sensory, when you see light, for example, you can look across in the night. I can look at a house that's 100 meters away with a light on and see approximately what is going on the porch. I could see it if there is something there, like an object or a figure. But if I put a light midway between me and the object, then I can't see it, right? If I put a color next to one color and then move it to another color, the color changes, even though it's the exact same color. If I smell something that is putrid, like a mortician that spends their time around death and decay, or taxidermist, and if you smell death all the time, then it doesn't smell so bad. And other things that aren't death, like flowers, smell very powerful. More powerful than someone that doesn't smell death. But if a person walked into a mortician's lab, they would probably, a lot of people will throw up. The same thing is true about every experience that you have in life, no matter how mundane or exemplary. When you hear sound, right? When you hear sound, and on multiple magnitudes, if you're exposed to extremely loud explosions all the time, what happens? You lose hearing, right? That's a high magnitude. If you hear a sound, like if you're in a room with a tone, and the tone is constant, then you adapt to the tone, and the tone becomes the baseline. And you don't hear the tone anymore. Likewise, if you have a sound of any form, any complexity of a sound wave, or what we call sound waves, they're not really waves. That's just how we represent it. Sound. If you have a sound, and then you have the exact, precise inversion of the sound, it cancels the sound out. And there is no sound. And that's true not only is that true in physicality, in actuality, that's true in recordings. So when we build software, when we write software, like DAWs, audio editing software, like when I make music, if I take a sound file and I put it into a timeline, and then I make a copy of it and put it above it, and I play both of them together, it's louder, right? And you're going to get some clipping. Now, if I invert the sound wave in one of the tracks, what happens? There's no sound. The reason why this is necessary as an artifact, it's not like it's ever useful to have no sound in a DAW. It's because when we write tools, we are bound by the laws. And if we fuck with them, it causes artifact fracturing through the entire system. And so everything that we make, everything that we produce ourselves by our own mind and effort for our own individual purposes entirely replicates and is parallel to creation and the laws thereof. And it's bound by that, and there is no escape. And in the same way as that, when we take a color, which we know as a wavelength, because that's the way we've decided to look at it, because we think that we can measure it, although we can't. When we take a color and we take an inversion of the color, an exact inversion, and we place the two colors next to each other, where they meet creates a line that's as thick as you want to see it, or as thin as you want to see it, in which there is no visual field at all. And the reason why is because when you invert a color to its exact inversion or an approximate thereof, the resolution of our vision as we were created, it sees what's really there. And that's what is really there. What you see between those two colors. And when you look out and hold the eyes still, and you don't move your eyes at all, and when your concentration evolves beyond what's here, because you're using your mind, and so you have no use for your eyes, and so they hold still, and you forget that you have eyes to see, and they just stay there. The entire world, everything around, will start to fade and go black. And the more still that you hold your eyes by not using them, the more that the world in your sight begins to dissolve. And at first, the lines of all the objects and their differentiation of intensity of light as it reflects off them, they begin to shimmer. Then they begin to go darker. The colors all become the same. There's no longer a brown wood or white wood. It becomes an electrical looking line. And then things start to become black with pulsation as it pulls in. And when you move your eye, it comes back. The reason why is because when you move your eye, you are creating a contrast of where you were looking at reality before, and then you move your eye, and it contrasts what you were looking at before with what you now see, and you create the definition of this illusion. And so in this way, the Creator, what we like to call God, which I don't like to use that word because I don't know it. It's just a strange word that you've come up with. That word being represented through an object is an exact affront to that Creator, because your object can be destroyed, and it will be destroyed by the law of the Creator in accordance therewith. Matt Kuckerberger's getting anxious here. And that's all that I have to say about that. What else you got? What do you got? They're difficult concepts to explain. I'm just trying to explain them. I got a little more steam left, so let's keep on going. This is the last one. I gotta move on to other stuff. Matt, Doug, you planning to start YouTube videos again? You use them to drop red pills? That's what I'm doing. I'm not going to do it your way. And I'm not going to make more YouTube. I mean, I'm going to make some YouTube videos. They're going to be for a very specific purpose. And that's it. Everything else is just going to be real life. No problem, Matt. I'm glad that you appreciate that answer. I'm just trying to be real with you. I don't know who Devon Stack is. Devon Stack. I don't know who that is. No, this is going to be the last one. Part of what I'm working on is to do what I say, and that's why I got to stop doing these, so I can go make music and make some other stuff. I'll still be. You can catch the podcast. Luke said it's that what I'm doing has helped people. I hope so. I know that like what I say here is very inadequate and crude. I understand that. People tend to have problems with that. But the real problem is, if you don't like me saying the word faggot, you should have come up with a better language. I treat everybody with the respect that they earn in my sight by my best judgment, including faggots. Yeah, I don't know any languages. I'm really bad at language. I don't know if I probably have sweaters somewhere. They're in a box or something. I don't know. Yeah, I've got the P.O. box. I've got a P.O. box. If you send stuff in there, I check it for bombs. So if you're gonna like try to kill me or something with a P.O. box, I mean, if you're really fucking smart, you might be able to do it. But I check that shit pretty hard. It generally sits around for a few days, and I put it in a blast hole, and then I open it up in a remote way, so that if there's an agent in there or an explosive, I have a slightly better chance of living. Just to put that out there for whoever's watching this. Just if you're out there trying to assassinate me, just like understand that like I'm gonna die eventually. So you don't have to kill me. because I get killed later on. So just wait. It'll happen. Or if you want, just come on down. Let's do this. Either way, if I'm to die, I die. If I'm to live, I'll live. All right, Raul's going to work. Good seeing you. Wish you well. Manus Count, are you threatening me? No. Print your 2A. Hope you get your shit accomplished. Yeah, I hope so too. I'm not sure if it's for me. Trying to do something. Not really sure what. Aaron says, so how big a bomb? I mean, I don't know. It's tough to say. If you send too big of one, it'll get intercepted at USPS. If it's too small, it won't be effective because, like detonated mortars, like fucking Russian mortars, like right next to me. And I have a pretty good survival record, so, it's a fine line, I guess. Hey, thanks, Brent. Appreciate that confidence. All right, anything last? It sounds like we're kind of drying out here, getting all dry and ashy. What do you got? Sean says, how many signs you got this year? So the signs are they're everywhere, all the time. It's like all of creation is a sign. Past and future and present. Make sure to check the Keybase. Yeah, I've been on there a while. I'll check it out. How soon are we gonna die? Who's we? All people? I don't know. I mean, system, what's an explanation? System, what do you want me to explain? Just tell me. I'll try to answer the best I can. How soon we die? I don't know when everybody dies. It's not really up to me. I can tell you a lot of people are going to die here coming up. We're going to go through a highly lethal period. Are you working on a killdozer? Nope. Not working on a killdozer. I will say one thing. So, however this goes, eventually, if I can keep my heart up, eventually I'll probably get in prison. Eventually. It's not now, okay? We're not there yet. At some point I will get in prison, okay? If you want me to be in prison, just leave me in prison. If you don't want me to be in prison, then you'll have to change something. And that's all I'm going to say. What did you want to know, system? Matt Tolkien, if you can keep your heart on, what does that mean? Matt says it feels unethical to have kids. No, that's not true. You should have children. You should have children. You should have many children. As many as your heart's content. If you don't feel like you're going to have children now, it's because you're enslaved and you need to free yourself in some way to create a situation. Any points for sapper school types info? Yeah, I probably wouldn't go right now. I'd probably try to figure out a way to get out of the Army, personally. I mean, that's just me. I'm not saying that's right. I'm just saying, like, that's, we've got more important shit going on than the Army in the world at this point. Going to DC on the 6th. I don't even know what's going on in DC, so I'm not going, obviously. Any good way to wake others up. Yeah, you speak from your heart, they're going to wake up. Cut all the bullshit. Cut your expectation of what's going to happen when you say the magic words. Digging deep into your heart and try to evolve truth. Try to reflect it. Reflect it. You don't possess truth. It's not a possessible thing. It's not an item. It's not a physicality. Just like the creation isn't something that you can hold and wear on a necklace. Truth isn't either. You can only reflect it. It's not possessed by the person. A person can be true, and then the next minute they can be false. And all their truth goes away because they're false. But as soon as the moment that they're true, as soon as that moment comes, they're then true again. It's a reflection. Mark Zuckerberg says, Dugan, you're talking crazy these days. You're one man, bro. It's not all of what you think it is. I don't know what that means. It's not all of what you think it is. You want to make a change? This ain't it. Grab your people and train together. Now, the problem with that is, because of the level of deception, you're all an extreme danger to yourself and everyone else around you. Because you have lost, for a long time, you have lost the ability to understand what is real and what is not. And because of that, you are putty in the hands of evil. And you are the golem. And so there's not a ground to stand on in the first place because you have no ground. You have to build ground first, and then if you choose, you can fight from there, if you choose. But you can't do that while not accepting reality. And no one right now is accepting the reality. And people are very confused why it can't be funny, why I don't want to be funny. I don't want to be funny because we're not on the same page. I can only be funny from the basis, from the foundation of deceit and falsehood. And that's the only way that people would see anything funny. I don't want to be there anymore, and so I'm waiting for everybody to get on the same page, which is coming. Mostly. It won't be everybody, but it'll be a lot of people. And when we get there, when you're down in the dirt, then I can relax and be funny. When there's nobody else that's funny. Right now, everybody wants to be funny, and so I won't be. All right, system, what do you want to know about signs and creation? Do you know about signs in reality, like in the moment, like in actuality? The last sign that I had was probably I was in a ditch, burning leaves on the side of a road, and there was a massive fire that was really hot. It was so hot that during the winter it was making me sweat. And there was a 4-year-old girl that waved to me from across the street, and then she yelled at me, "You have no competition." And they're everywhere. They're behind you in the rear view mirror of your life. They're in the concrete. They're in the sky. They're in the birds. They're in the people. You know, if you know where I see the Creator more than anywhere else? When someone wants to fight me. In real life, I mean. When someone becomes so angry, when someone's so angry that they're upset and they express whatever vain idea they have of whatever's going on in their head, and it manifests in their frustration, and they express it. You can almost see the creator, and it's like trying to make an actor break the fourth wall. It's like trying to make a Queen's Guard laugh. It's like trying to pull a shadow out of a hole. Love you too, Vern. I'm stopping the streams because I'm too dumb to make it work. I'm trying to make it work through here. It's not going to work. I got to try other things. So I'm going to try other things, and I'm going to use all the times I use on the stream to do other things, right? That just makes sense. I have to because I can't. I'm at a marker now. We're at like a time marker. I don't have effect. And so I have to move on to something else. I have no idea what I'm doing. So this is just the best that I can do. Legend of Pogrom. So I guess you're talking about the girl with the flames. That's a creepy ass sign. Where did that girl come from? Well, I mean, from wherever she's at. I mean, I don't know. It's a random person. Mark Zuckerberg says, WTF, bro, it's your team. Lead your team. No, I don't have any team. Creation is the team, okay? It's very volatile right now and very dangerous. And all that I'm doing, all that I'm trying to do and failing, I'm just trying to reflect truth so that it stimulates you in a way that causes you to start to look at things that are different, because a lot of you are about to get swallowed up, and the ones that don't get swallowed up, those will be the ones that are obviously going to work against the people that are swallowed up. And it's a little bit more subtle than how it sounds. But what I would expect now is you're going to have the Fowler come out, and that's what you're getting primed for. If you want to understand what a Fowler is, what the actual Fowler is, the Fowler is like an animal that hunts, or like a catcher of birds. That would be like the historical context. But the way that you should think about the Fowler is like Leon Trotsky. The way that you should think about the Fowler is like Jim Jones. That's what you've got coming. And it's going to get really confusing. Regardless of what anybody tells you, your interest is to live and to be secure, and to have children, and to do good deeds, and to follow truth the way that you see it. And that is what you should be doing when it's hard. And you shouldn't abandon what you know to be truth. You should inventory what you know to be truth, the path of truth, right now, so that when you're tested and bent against it, you can imagine in your head what you told yourself of what truth was, and you can say, this is true, and so it doesn't yield. And in that way you will gain strength by truth being your shield, because you will be reflecting it, because you're reflecting truth, not because you possess truth or because you are truth, but you are reflecting it. And in that way, Truth will be like your substance and energy and your shield and your weapon. What's your goal with the streams? My goal with the one that I'm not hitting, I don't really know. I don't really know what the goal is. I know that there's somebody that is supposed to hear things that I'm saying. I know that. Or multiple people. I know that my enemy is supposed to hear my streams. And I know that it is supposed to cause some kind of change somewhere in the world, in actuality. But if I can't see the fruit of that in reality, then I have to assume it's like looking for a lost person. I can keep on walking down the path that I haven't gotten the return yet on, or I can choose a different path, and that's I have to use my mind. And so that's what I'm doing. GKT says you're making more effect than you realize. I'm sure that's true. But this has to move. This has to become something that is actualized. Whatever it is that you see has to become actualized through you with acts. Not through simulation, not through passivation, but through acts. I'm still doing the podcast. I'm not stopping the podcast, okay? I'm just stopping the streams. BA says, well, if he's waking us up, then shouldn't we do our own streams? Yes, you should. Yes, you should, in my opinion, but that's up to you. I'm not going to tell you what to do, because what you see is right, is what you have to follow. But I think every single person has the ability to influence everything around them. And to be more clear and more honest than what I was before, I think the measure of success that I've been looking for that isn't here is for there not to just be Dugan, but everybody. For it to be unstoppable. For there to be no centralization, no choke point to cut off, but 1,000 trees growing all at once and gaining stream. Luke K says, BA, we don't all have the knowledge that he does. I have no knowledge at all. I know nothing. Everything that I'm saying is reflection. I am reflecting. And the fact that you can see truth if you are to see it is a mechanic of creation. Everything that we do, whether it's listening to music or listening to something that inspires us in some way, is entirely the mechanic of creation. Because what's actually happening, like I tried to explain to you, that this place that we see, that we sense with our senses, is an illusion. The actual place that is somewhere else exists. It is there. And when I call on truth to reflect to you, and you take it in, and you see it, and you evaluate it, and if you see a truth there, no matter how small or big, you're receiving a reflection from the other place, and it is reminding you of where you came from and where you're destined to go back to. And you're already programmed, it's written into your purpose to go back to that place. And so you seek truth. And that's why in every language, in spite of their intent to fracture and to stop transmittance, everyone in every language in every nation understands truth, and it's recognized by both the poor and kings. It can't be counterfeited. If it's counterfeited, then it's not truth. And because it's not truth, it can't definitionally be truth. It's a counterfeit. It can't be issued. You can't possess it, so you can't issue it. But this thing that's so elusive, this truth, is like steel, and it can be recognized like you hold steel in the hand, like it's as nothing else. It's as real as steel. That can be recognized high and low, but it's not held in the hand. And this is the property of truth, because it can't be created or destroyed. Lackawanna said he's got 11 hens. That's very good. I hope they serve you well. Don't give up on them. They won't give up on you. David Kopp finally made it to his stream. Yeah, this is the massage channel, so these are all massages. Frederick says there are a lot of people here who need your leadership. I wouldn't have fully abandoned it. I'm not abandoning anything. I'm not standing up as your leader. And I'm not going to declare myself some kind of leader. And I'm also not abandoning. I'm not going to abandon you, okay? I'm not going to do YouTube in this way. The entire point of me being on YouTube is just to reach you because you're here. That's it. This isn't free. This isn't a free press. You have no future here. I have to try other things. I have things I have to do in actuality, and I can't do here. Thousands of armed patriots are going to DEC on the 6th. I hope that nothing bad happens. What's the Arab Rob's greatest weakness? David. The Jews. If I had to guess who is my enemy, the inversion of truth is my enemy. And any man that stands in his army. Ein Sof is just a word. It's simply a word. Do you think the Ein Sof calls itself Ein Sof? How could it? There's no words at that point. Come on. DEC 88 says you will eat the bugs. You will take the vaccine. You will own nothing, and you will love it. Adam Ritchie says that he doesn't understand half this stuff, but it's been an honor. Okay, well, you know, maybe just think about it a little bit. You know, just see what you can pull out of it. You know, if it sounds all flustered and shit, it's because I'm an idiot. Number one, and number two, because it's you know, it's not normal shit to talk about. I don't have like a fucking book that I can read from. Secret massages. I'm trying not to make it a secret. It's hard that sometimes it comes out as a secret because I can't think of everything on the moment. Don't want me to delete the channel. Okay, I won't delete the channel. I'll leave the channel. Hardcore says, I think you're leaving because CRS proved that you were right to end Carnico. That's rough. Don't put it on. Don't put it on CRS. Okay. He's an honest guy. Okay. Leave CRS alone. Come on. Nick T says you're a leader. Don't think that you aren't. I know that I'm a leader, but I don't want to be. Okay? And the world isn't in a place to be led right now. We're in a place to be black-eyed. Maybe I'll lead you after you have a black eye. After everybody gets swallowed up by the Fowlers and we all have black eyes and everybody wants to quit, then maybe I'll lead you. Station 3 wants me to say it again. I don't know what. January 6th is Day of Epiphany. Could you be more specific, Angel? Mark Zuckerberg wants to know if you should lay down. No, you shouldn't lay down. There's no laying down. There's no laying down at all. What you have to understand is this is synthesis. Every moment that I spend here is a moment that I have to hold this phone in my hand and not something else. You see this? Every moment that I sit here talking to you is a moment I can't talk to somebody face to face. That I can't sniff you out. That I can't work. No, I never read Bradbury. No, we can't lay down. But once we understand what is going on, then what do we do next? I would recommend for the time being, for the next few years, that people dig in, put themselves in a position where they can't be pried into a direction that's not their choice, and that should be paramount. And the second thing that we should do is build forests so that food and shelter can't be used as a weapon and neither can fuel. And that is what I have to turn my attention to, because we're getting very close to that becoming a reality. And I have to focus on that in actuality. Did you edit Yankee Boogle? I mean, what do you mean? Yeah. Yeah, I made the Yankee Boogle video. Anti-nominalism. I don't know what that word means. Okay. He wants to know, bring about the Messianic era by groups like Sabbatean Frangos, Sabbatean, Shabbatai. So, that's a hard question to answer because it's not my place to answer. What I can tell you in very broad, non-specific terms is that there will be a false Gaula, and that will prompt in eventuality actualized Gaula. And I can also tell you in nondescript terms that it's very, very close. But in relativity, I can't tell you how long that'll be. Dude, you need to start taking reservations for trainings. Guys will pay to come train with you spiritually and physically at your location. Maybe when you're like half dead in a gutter, then I'll pick you up. But if you try to give me money, I just take your cash and set it on fire and walk away. Yeah. Anarchist says, I'm independent, don't need no leader. That's exactly right. None of you need leaders. And the leader is the surest way to get you killed. Humanity is in no position to have any kind of resistance at this point. You have to have a serious awakening from the bottom to even be capable of having any kind of resistance. The thoughts of resistance right now are on an individual level. It's at the individual interface and sight against this beast. And obviously the stakes are really high, you know. Where it comes is something that we're not going to control. It's something that's going to be produced the way that it should be. And that's not up to us. It'll come eventually. Shalnat says, I have an idea of who you might be, but I don't want to put you on the spot. Nobody at all knows exactly who I am, and nothing more and nothing less. Take care of yourself, though. You too. Zuckerberg says, Dugan, do you see a role here? Start your fucking training courses and book your paid and advanced members and do your part, bro. You know, someday you're all going to throw your money into the streets And you're going to see the world in a way where you're going to have terrible, deep shame about the way that you thought about money. And you'll learn about what all of our hands or acts did to others while we were thinking this way. Angel says it's a feast day in Christianity. Trump wants all patriots in DC, so who knows what happens. I can tell you this. After they take power, they're going to come after everybody like me. That's their next step. Have you had any luck with solar for your house? Yes and no. I don't use solar panel. I mean, I do have a solar panel, but I use it for like a light bulb. The best use of solar is thermal solar or concentrated solar power. You can set up mirrors and you use tracking software, much like a solar tracker. But reversed, so that you're using a heliostat, which is just a giant mirror that you pick a target and you shoot concentrated sun onto a target, and you get about 1.1 kilowatts of thermal energy per meter for reflected sunlight. What does that mean? That means that you can take some mirrors and put them on a piece of foam board and make a rim drive pivot with chain or whatever, like bike chains or whatever, and you can, if you have enough of them, you could heat your entire house the entire winter as long as there's sun. When there's no sun, obviously it won't work, so at night it won't work. When it's cloudy out, it won't work. When there's sun, you can heat your entire house. I do have some ideas for New Year's resolutions. I have to decide if I want to do it or not, so I'm not going to talk about it. Are you intentionally reading the chat 3 minutes behind? I just haven't caught up. Here, let me catch up. All right, I'm with you now. All right, let's finish up here. Finish up. Last question. Yeah, for concentrated solar power, if you want to heat up and keep the heat, what you can do is you can put a giant silica mass in your house, kind of like the ants do, with brick is the easiest way. So you make a brick wall on the opposing wall of the window that you shoot concentrated solar power in, and you make it a couple layers thick so it absorbs the heat like a giant heat battery. Joel wants to know about demo. We're not doing demo right now. We'll do demo later. We'll do it as a solid unit so it can't be taken away. Now, the interesting thing about money, somebody talked about heavenly realms and money. The interesting thing about money is that obviously I already told you about how when you hear music, you are reflecting, you're doing a checksum from your place of origin and remembering. Same thing with communication. You're using the tools of physicality to communicate something that is not physical. And the reason why this is so consistent across creation is because it's actuality. The actual place is not what you see with your senses. It's apart from that. It's not above, it's not below. It's within and without. Money is not physical. It's not a bill. It's not the digits on a computer. It's not a coin. It is something that you can't really hold. It's not physical. because it comes from the same place. And with that, I think I'm going to close. You guys have a good night. I love you.